staring into the abyss. Nostalgic times and constant reminisce. The good, the bad, and the time I'll never miss. Drowning my sorrow in the alcoholic thoughts that once was your kiss. Captivating in every fiber, one could only but resist. To glare at your beauty through my mind's eye, deep within the abyss. Hello everyone, welcome back to Poetry Journal Podcast. I am your host, Alex Murder, and I've got a short one here for you today, evidently, as you just heard, and this is like a blast from the past, basically. This poem, surprisingly, and there's a reason why I wanted to share it. It's called Into the Abyss. Yes, that's right, Into the Abyss. And if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, then you know that one of the stories that I've created is called well, let me get to that after this. Let me read it one more time, and just familiarize yourself with it. And if you like the swing of things, I'll leave a link so you can know where to find it when you know where to find it. Here we go. Steering into the abyss. Nostalgic times and constant reminisce. The good, the bad, and the times I'll never miss. Drowning my sorrows in the alcoholic thoughts that once was your kiss. Captivating in every fiber, one could only but resist. Time and time again, one would persist to glare at your beauty through my mind's eye, deep within the abyss. As I was saying, you can find this in the Poetry Journal Dream Imagine Express. And as I was saying, if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know that this is Dream Imagine Express Poetry Journal, for one, is the first publishing I've ever done. And to add to that, if you've been listening for a while, you know that Into the Abyss is the first story I've created, in a sense. So I guess in a sense I do have a story to tell. So with this piece, I guess it was just more of an experiment. Somebody planted a seed in terms of it's almost like a challenge, and so in terms of these times, I only knew myself to be a poet, to write poetry, and so after creating so much volume of work, there was a question, could you ever write a story? and I was like, let me think about that. But the way they did it, it was almost like, you know, knowing who I am, and this was somebody that's very close to me, look up to, family, like, you know, that's almost like it planted a seed in the sense of like knowing that I'm most likely knowing that I'm gonna try it, and you know, once I did it, it just felt natural. It felt organic, just putting it together, and yeah, it was almost like the best way to describe it is kind of like a branch on the same tree, in a sense. And you know, I in my opinion, my style, the way I write poetry, it's almost like my style is versatile enough to kind of indicate that, you know, stories would be good to go with, would be another thing that would work for me. And so you know, ever since then I've kind of just kept it under my umbrella to put stories together and just to keep writing, both. And you know, since then, like, it goes to I've pretty much just been growing since then, in terms of like first poetry, then poetry and stories, and then this is a few years ago now, like 5 or 6 years ago, and then yeah, so it's poetry, then poetry and stories, then, you know, juggling both, and then here we are now to the point where like I'm doing, you know, like performances of my own creation. And I think for me it's very natural. It's almost like, you know, I take pride in it because it's mine, and it's like one of my babies when I go up there and I just present it to people. Do you get what I mean? It's kind of like, it's gonna sound a bit weird, but it's almost like a kiss the baby moment when, you know, you know, they say that the presidents, when they go out there and they speak to the people and, you know, kiss a few babies. It was almost like a kiss the baby moment when I go up there and I just kind of speak or express something that I've created, and I just find it it's captivating, it's addictive. Yeah, it's an experience to itself. Like, it's so, if you're passionate about, you know, if you're a passionate creator and creating is what you do, like, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So yes, that's how it started. And you know what, I'll you know, obviously I'm not the type to not do my research pertaining to, you know, ventures. So, and what I mean by that is, when I started this story, I really wanted to make it relative to me as a person, or like my background, or like my people, in a sense. And what I mean by that is, I know a little. I know I'm aware of my history, in a sense, you could say, and so I went about researching about. I guess I wanted some strong character names, and because you know, I went to research and I found some, but from there it was almost like, I think it gave me so much more. It enriched my characters in terms of like things I would like them to have certain things from the original that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? Just knowing history. Let me get to the point. So, one of the characters in the two main characters, I should say, in my in this story I wrote is Cain and Amani. Now, obviously, I'm sure people can imagine where Cain could come up. Religious name, so by default, Cain is strong. Cain is a strong name, religious name, of course. I'm an atheist now, but I grew up in a church, so obviously you're aware of Cain. Amani especially is a short for Amanirenas, which is an Egyptian queen. If you don't know, it's an Egyptian queen. She was famous for battling with the Romans. These times when Africa was referred to as Kemet, or the Kush Empire in a sense, Amanirenas was on the throne, and she was the ruler at the time, and she was famous because not just because of her position, but because she was such a prominent figure in resisting the power that be, which was Rome, trying to come and, I suppose you could say, colonize where her root, colonize her people and her place. You know what I mean? So it was quite. She's quite a big figure in her time, I would say, and so Amanirenas was a real thorn in the side of Roman Empire, which was a long time before. So that was the that I don't want to go too much into it. If you but I think I would advise people to go and look up this history, because I think it's so rich in it's enriched with a lot of knowledge that I think a lot of people would enjoy reading about. And okay, the next one is Idi. Idi is the other character I have in my story. Now, I'm not sure if you've already grasped where I'm going with this, but Idi is short for Idi Amin. I'm sure at least a few people are aware of who Idi Amin is, but it wouldn't do him justice to describe him as the monster of his day, you know what I mean, or of those days that he reigned. He was president of Uganda, and but yeah, it wouldn't do him justice to make him just sound like a monster. He did unspeakable things, absolutely a monster, or even beyond that, But I thought at the time he was perfect for for a villain role. Like he would make the perfect villain role. If only just in name alone, but so those are like the three main things that I really try to make relative in terms of like if people was aware, or like if I ever met some people that have read my story, or people that I've spoken to that have actually dug into my story and read about it, I would just kind of share little trinkets with them, or inspiration behind the story, about how, or some of the inspirations in terms of like the characters that I really wanted to have in the story that people could really perhaps relate to, or brings closer to the story in a sense. So Kane, Amani, and there's a few others, but these were the main three that I really wanted to kind of just have in there to kind of tell the story and just really just break it down for everybody, and just I took little pieces here and there. Now these are trade secrets I'm telling you here. No, I'm joking, but this is just the way I did this particular story in terms of like development and just just making it happen and creating it. And I must say as well, like it was really fun to create it, especially with the it's good to it's good to do research, and it made it fun because to create the story after I have all these tools at my disposal, which was like just the knowledge and the information to kind of just play with and manipulate. And obviously the story is as a modern story. It wasn't like, it's not like anything to do with but it was just, I like the traits that I read about, just reading into it. I like the traits of the characters for the roles that I really wanted to have them in. So that was really I felt that was really cool to tell, and I hope it made sense me telling it, and I hope you enjoy hearing about that. So yeah, of course, to that I would say, are you a reader? Back to questions again. Are you a reader? What's your interest in terms of genre? Is it a story, a thriller, romance, crime, then, or is it poetry? I would imagine you know by now that that's I'm your guy if it's poetry, or and this story is actually a crime thriller story. I was trying to hint at that. And yeah, so if that's the case, out of these two, and I've been, I'm always writing, so I do have things, more things, but these are still so important to me, and I thought it's a good thing to share, and so yeah, if you're into these things that I'm mentioning, then you should definitely go check that story out, and I would love to hear some feedback on it, or what people think. I think that would be really good as well, and fun discussion, and nice to break things down, but I think it's just fun to just share things like this to people that, you know, follow your work and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you it's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah. But like I said, I'll leave links. I'll leave some links to the story, and also the poetry, the book that I'm speaking about. I'm sure you know it, Dream, Imagine, Express. And yeah, just reach out, as I always say, and share with me anything you have going on. Always here to discuss, or whether it's poetry. And I haven't forgotten. I do intend to have somebody soon, so we can chop up some profound content, or, you know, creation of mine, I should say. But and you know, thanks for everyone for tuning in as they have been doing recently. You know, it's been fun. Life has been fun in terms of like just following, you know, your passion, etc., and something like this, you know, and or doing it for the people. So thanks for everyone for sharing, and yeah, I'll be back soon, and we can have another discussion. But for now, that was my story to tell. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care until next time.